Hello everybody. Today I am here with my 2015 Volvo S60 and we're getting ready to do an oil change in this. And I thought I would share this with you guys. It's a bit different than your normal oil change. I have 6,000 miles on this oil. I'm using a Castrol Edge full synthetic extended protection 5W30. And it says it's good for 20,000 miles, but I'm not going to do that. I always change about 5,000 miles or so. This has 6,000 miles on this oil change, but it's not your normal 6,000 mile oil change. I have just over 5,600 miles on this oil change that was put on it within a week and a half. My daughters and I did an epic drive across the western two-thirds of the United States, saw some sights, visited some places we've always wanted to visit. Got really hot because out west is super hot right now. Those poor folks are really suffering. If you're out west, I feel bad for you. Driving along, there were times when consistently, a couple of days in a row, I was getting 110, 115 degree readings on my dash while driving at highway speeds. And then I tapped out at 120. It was the highest that I saw, but that's horrible temperatures to have to deal with. Car made it just fine though, but I've always wondered, when you put that many miles on a car that short of a time, only like 400 miles of regular in-town driving, the rest all out, on vacation, what's the oil look like? Does it still come out clean or what? Well, normally you could pop your dipstick out and take a look, but like with a lot of these newer cars, it doesn't have a dipstick. So somebody that did that to these cars, yeah, I'd like to call you a dipstick right now, because I miss that. Everybody that wants to work on their own cars wants a dipstick to be able to check the oil. Bring that back, please, guys. But for now, let's get on with this. I'm going to get ready. Already got my car up on jack stands. I'll get my tools. I'll get a mat to lay down on, and we'll get the oil out and filter changed and see what we look like. Alright, so as you can see, the oil is draining through there. It's down to a trickle, and it's actually pretty decent. You see it's got a brown color to it, but it's got some clarity to it. It's not jet black. See if we can get some on a paper towel and take a look at it here. So here is the stuff that I got on the paper towel from this draining, and you'll notice it's really kind of a really light brown. It's not that honey color anymore, but it's pretty light. This is oil that I got on a paper towel from a jug from a previous oil change that went the full 5,000 miles under normal operating times and conditions. So, probably 8 months, because I didn't drive it a huge amount. I drive my youngest daughter's little car, so I don't put miles on it. But you can see there is a difference in color. This is much lighter. This is darker. And I believe that's because this is picking up possibly the contaminants in the oil from many start-stops and much usage, whereas this is much lighter, probably because of less particulates that's gotten into the oil. Of course, I could take these two and send them off to a testing facility and find out, but interesting fact, most people think the oil will get discolored like this only because of contaminants in the oil, and that is not the case. if you want to really learn about how oil works and what kind of oils are out there, and which one is the best, along with a ton of other cool stuff that you can find out about everyday objects and which one might be the best for you, go look up a YouTube channel called Project Farm. The gentleman that does this is brilliant. He's fun to watch. He tests everyday things with as close to a pure scientific method as possible, and he comes up with some amazing results. None of his videos are sponsored. None of his products are provided free of charge. All the ideas come from his mind or from our minds. We can go on and suggest videos and things for him to test. One of the series that he did, though, was a motor oil comparison, and he sets up the standardized testing as close as he can replicate it to test lubricity, the amount of film strength that the oil has, and also conducts what's called the NOAC volatility test. You heat the oil. The NOAC test heats it to like 450, but he can't do that and consistently measure the temperature. So he uses some coffee pots on a hot plate at 400 degrees for a consistent temperature to see how much evaporation occurs, how much loss of liquid occurs. He'll measure out a known specific weighted amount in the coffee cups or coffee pots, put these things at 400-degree heat for 2 hours, and he'll do head-to-head comparisons where there's two of them, and he'll rotate them like every 5 or 10 minutes on the hot plate, so if there's one side hotter than another, it evens out. And test to see which has the most evaporative loss. Now, one thing that you'll notice during this test is the motor oil doesn't get used. It just sits there in a coffee pot getting hot at 400 degrees for 2 hours. And the motor oil will start out that beautiful, pure honey color and darken up just from that. So part of what changes the color of the motor oil and makes it dark when it comes out of your car is heat. Just plain simple heat. And it's really obvious if I were to show you the oil that comes out of my daughter's little 1.8 liter Toyota engine after 5,000 miles. It's dang near original color because that engine doesn't get hot enough. I mean, during the winter it produces enough heat to keep me warm, but it is a cool running engine. It's not much bigger than some lawnmower engines, I tell you what. But it's really cool to see how long the engine stays clean looking, or the oil stays clean looking in that car. But there's a little interesting tidbit for you. But that is really cool to see this oil that's been in this car for 5,600 miles of driving across the Rocky Mountains, across the desert, across flat boring areas. It is definitely cleaner, at least in appearance, than oil that stays in the car for your normal duration, 6 months, 8 months, whatever. And this is only a 5,000 mile oil change, and this is 6,000 mile here. So interesting, very interesting, isn't it? Let's finish changing the oil in this car, and we'll get the stuff out and take a closer look. All right, here we are at the end. This is the 3 paper towels. This is new motor oil, by the way, and you can see it just looks like cooking oil. It's really clear as compared to the oil that I had, and then the regular oil. So there is a difference. It is kind of cool to do this. Maybe a little pointless, but kind of cool. Oil filter looks super good. The oil feels really nice. I mean, super slippery. It feels like it's new. And if you smell of it, it smells new. There's no gas smell to it or anything like that. It smells almost just like it came out of the bottle, and it's got a really good feel to it. So my conclusion is, I guess my conclusion is that I got oily fingers now. I know, like I said, it might be a pointless experiment, but it is really interesting to see what the difference is between oil that you put in and almost immediately put almost 6,000 miles on, and oil that you drive over a longer period of time. So there is indeed a difference. So I enjoyed making the video. I had to change my oil anyway. I thought I'd take you guys along for the ride. So hopefully we all got something out of it. Not sure totally what, just something entertaining. But we did it together. So thanks guys. Talk to you later.